What's the first thing you think of when you hear the phrase mad pride?
I've never heard of it. It's probably the first thing that I think of.
Like when you're proud of your mental disabilities or illness.
When I think about mad pride, I think about people who have a mental either disability or illness, and they're not afraid to share it because they're not any different from anyone else.
So I think of like just having a ton of pride. Like
I think of pride and I associate that with the gay pride movement, and I'm not really sure what I think of mad pride, so mad maybe like so much pride.
Well, it's a step up from what it used to be. It was my grandpa had an illness, so it's like super taboo in our family to mention it, mostly because my grandma would be like, "Don't talk about it." So I mean, it's a really big step up. So it's kind of nice that they're sort of embracing it.
I think that's a phenomenal group, especially because I think we kind of shush it away and try to act like it doesn't happen. So coming out and talking about it could be actually beneficial, I think, to most people who have mental illnesses and health problems. And so I think it's a great movement that it's happening.
It's good. Like, I think that whatever your circumstances are, you should find confidence in it, even if it's not the norm, not convenient. I think that you can be proud of yourself and the dilemmas you face.
I think that's really important that we have something like that, and I'm also kind of at the same time disappointed that I have never heard of it, and there's not really I guess a lot of projection of such a thing, and so maybe if we could raise more awareness of it, because that sounds like something really important, and I'm glad that there is something like that.
So I think of like just having a ton of pride. Like
I mean, I've heard people say things like, I've got like mad pride, like at like LGBT, like at like pride, or like, you know, like I got pride, like I don't, and simply like, because I think you're referring to like a mental health connotation, and I haven't heard it in that sort of connotation.
I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
So Mad Pride directly imitated Gay Pride parade in London. And one of our key principles is mutual support, unity through diversity. So everybody is welcome in this activity.
We came together as psychiatric survivors wanting to celebrate ourselves, saying, hey, we're something together. So let's do a pride.
I think mental health is having a good perception of, or a healthy view on yourself, being positive, having human interaction, being able to, I guess just being happy.
I mean, I wouldn't define it as a problem, but more as like something that like you deal with that like isn't like your fault. It's more like just like chemical imbalance that you just have to like learn to like deal with and get better from.
Chemicals in your brain. I don't know.
I define mental disability as things that impair you from like performing in everyday life.
I don't usually hang around a lot of people who are in that field. I haven't seen that much, but Mount Holyoke is a really pretty open community, so really it's fine. I see dogs all the time, like whether or not they're service dogs. There's a service animal, service cat actually on the first floor of Mead. So everyone seems pretty open. It's also because they're pets, so like really.
So I think mental health. There was a speaker who was here last month, and I think it's not just about lack of disease, but I think it's about like wellness, and I think it's about feeling like you're in your best mind, that you're making and that you're making the decisions you want to make, and that you feel that there's you feel that you are in control.
I think in general poorly. They think you can brush it off as if it's not like a physical thing. It's like since it's mental, they think maybe they choose to have it or think it up in their brain when really it's as physical as like a muscle or
On campus, I definitely think that Sigma is to help them and very supportive, because Mount Holyoke is a very supportive community. And I think there's tons of posters, and it seems like where you can go and get help if you need it. And so many of us around us saying like, "I'll help you." And so Mount Holyoke, especially where I come from, my local community, I think. Tends to push things away a little bit and act like it doesn't happen, but more and more people are coming out and being supportive of one another, so it is a growing movement.
You feel like you're not right in the mind. You feel like you can't function properly.
It's about supporting each other and creative thinking so that we can have really, truly deep social and environmental change.
I live around people that are mentally ill, and they're proud of it because it makes them who they are, and because there's a movement about it, I find it kind of empowering.
This is about surviving the system, surviving the mental hospital, surviving all these things, and somehow coming through to the other side, I guess, and being proud of being you, regardless of what that is.
What do you think about the efforts to reclaim the term mad or crazy? I think it's great. I don't know. I have a really interesting relationship with like those words, because like it's weird, because like I know like I shouldn't like say them, like obviously like you shouldn't like call like a person crazy, but at the same time, like when I sometimes use like crazy, like I never mean it like in a mental health connotation. Just being like, oh, like that's why I've been using crazy a lot less than saying like more like, oh, like that's wild, or like that's unbelievable, or like using other words. But I think it's a good effort. I think those words should be reclaimed. Yeah.
I feel like that would be empowering because mad, I guess, is a term used in a negative way. So if people with mental health issues reclaim that term, it would be empowering for themselves, I guess.
Who's proud? I'm not going to make a speech. I'm just going to say, let's go for a walk, all you beautiful people, and be proud.
Pride is the opposite of shame. And shame is something that most of us have in common. But it's the flip side of shame is pride. And that's there's a revolution happening. It's a grassroots revolution.
We have a responsibility that if we're going to say our condition has become an asset to us, we have a responsibility to prove it. We have to show by our behaviors that what our condition is should not be scary to anybody around us.
I think it's good to celebrate difference. Teaching tolerance is a fantastic thing. But in other ways, I worry about it bringing negative attention to mental illness.
Throughout the general community, still, there's a lot of stigma on mental illness. There's a lot of us and them. There are real repercussions of when people find out that you're being treated for mental illness. And stuff like Mad Pride is the beginning of stopping that, you know.